Hi guys, we are just doing a chat about our new diagnosis. This is Christina, and
Hello.
my name's Cara. So we recently were both diagnosed with MS, and we are doing a blog and Instagram lives about our own experiences. So let's kick it off with Christina. So when were you diagnosed with MS, and how did you feel about your diagnosis?
Okay, so I had optic neuritis in late September last year. I didn't know what it was. I woke up one day and my vision was just off. So I went to an optician's and they could see there was nothing wrong with my actual eye. So they knew it was to do with my nerves, and they sent me to the hospital straight away. And I had all these emergency scans and whatnot. They said to me that they thought I probably had a tumour or a stroke that was causing the vision
Yeah.
change. Yeah, that was scary. And then after the scans and stuff, they said, we think that you've got MS, and we'd like to do a scan of your spine as well, just to double check. So that was happening, and it took from September till that January to get the results back. So in January it was officially sort of confirmed once they got my
Yeah.
spine scan results back. And to be honest, because after they got my brain scan back in October and they said you haven't got a tumour, we think it's MS, I was quite relieved. I didn't know what MS was. I don't know anybody who has MS. And I think I just, I was like, well, okay, I haven't got cancer. You know, things aren't that bad. So I felt relief.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to come to terms with it, because once I went home, I Googled everything under the sun and I really scared myself. I was only finding, the negative stories, and I struggled to find people my sort of age, who I could relate to and reach out to. So yeah, I'd say don't do that. Only use the MS Trust or Society, and only use, information from your neurologist, not what you've Googled and made up in your own head. And yeah, so it took me a while, but I've realised that it's not a death sentence. I have a lot of life to live. I'm gonna, it's down to hold on to that hope that the research and the new advancements that happen all the time, will just carry on developing, and we've got the best shot at living a full life. And everyone's so different, so you can't,
Yeah.
base yourself off the experience of others. So yeah, that's how I handled it. Which, everyone's different, and I don't think I handled it very well, but now I'm in a better place.
Christina, just
um,
out of interest, how old are you, just so that we know?
yeah, so I'm now 26. So at that time I was 25, turned 26 in January. It was like a few days before my birthday that they said, yes, you've got lesions in your spine and it is MS. So yeah.
Some sort of sense of relief, and I'm sure, although it's close to your birthday, you were kind of like happy-ish, I guess.
Yeah, I'd sort of come to terms with it in a way. But there was this slight bit of hope that I held on to, that maybe it was just a one-off, and
Yeah.
there's nothing actually, like, there's no condition that I actually have. It's just an isolated incident. So there was this tiny bit of hope that was then gone. But because I'd kind of come to terms with it, it was it wasn't as big a hit as what I'd been going through since October. So, yeah.
Wow, what a way to start your 2020, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, it's sort of similar for me. I was in December, I woke up, I was just getting over a chest infection. And I woke up one day and I was like, oh, my foot's numb. And I was kind of like, is this maybe a symptom of what I have? my chest infection. I wasn't too sure, and I remember I was in the car with my dad on the way for my driving test, and I said, "Oh, Dad, my foot's numb, like, do you think I should be worried?" And he was like, classic dad response, like, "Oh, no, don't worry, I'm sure it's nothing, you probably slept funny," or something like that. Anyway, it just got sort of worse, I guess. Like, it sort of traveled all the way up to my hip rather, and the other side of my leg and my foot, and then I kept getting these weird, like, electric shocks from my head. Like, when I would tilt my head forward, it felt like someone was, like, electrocuting me and sort of going all the way from the top of my spine down to the bottom of my feet, and it was very painful. And initially I thought it might be like a spinal injury, because I do go to the gym and, like, I lift heavy weights, and I thought maybe it might be related to that. So I got referred to a spinal surgeon, and we had an MRI, and he only did half of my body, and he found nothing, and I was clean as a whistle, and it felt like, it was all being made up in my head, and no one believed me, and it really, really got to me, and I feel like it still does get to me now, thinking about it. And then I was like, no, I kept, like, pushing and pushing and pushing, and then I got numb hands, and then I couldn't like, hold a pen, and I was getting really worried, because I was like, like, it's getting worse, it's not getting better, it's actually getting worse. And I remember being at work saying, I think it's a nerve damage, maybe I've got, like, a trapped nerve or something like that. Anyway, I went back to see the spinal surgeon, and then we did another MRI, but we did a whole body MRI, and he was like, "Yeah, you've got white lesions, and they're kind of everywhere." But he couldn't diagnose me, because he's a spinal surgeon. He has no idea. He works in orthopedics. So he referred me on to a neurologist, and the neurologist confirmed, and we did another MRI just in case, But yeah, my journey has been, quite short so far, because it started in sort of December time, and now it's June, and I got diagnosed in March. And during the coronavirus, it's just been, a bit of a whirlwind to try and get any form of treatment. But yeah, I feel, happy that I've been diagnosed, and somewhat relieved, because it's not going on in my head. There's, like, an actual diagnosis to it all. But yeah, it's been interesting, and I mean, we're both only at the starts of our journeys,